Okay, you guys, this is from Serge Del Mar's Substack, dated March 1st, 2025. Scientology mother knew about CSAM, aided and abetted in covering it up. Apparently, the FBI, Homeland Security, Child Protective Services, Department of Justice, and all of these agencies throughout the world are fine with little girls asking grown men or women explicitly actual questions, which is otherwise known as grooming. You know, and baby farm questions and incest questions and such like that. On Tuesday, I read a letter in front of the LAPD Commission. Wonder what they've done about it. Meeting from a Scientology mother who admitted she knew about crimes committed against a 7-year-old child. She also acknowledged that a Scientologist, Greg Scroy, was a law student at the time, was watching CSAM on his computer. So apparently that's what other people might call child porn, otherwise known as child abuse. And she did nothing but help cover it up. Wonder what the LAPD's done about that. Probably nothing. This is not just negligence. This is not just a moral failing. Per the law written in black and white, this is the epitome of a crime. She didn't report it to the police, crime number 1. She didn't alert Child Protective Services, crime number 2, when you're a mandated reporter. She didn't take any steps to protect the child or ensure that the perpetrator faced justice. Instead, she did what every Scientology parent has agreed to do: obstruct justice. She protected the predator. She protected the criminal institution. Kind of like that weirdo that was screaming and hollering, that LAPD officer weirdo that was screaming at Lara and shaking his hands all over the place. Almost like he wanted to strangle Lara, but he knew the cameras were on. She did everything except protect the child, as is always. This is not a unique case. This is how Scientology operates. The system is built to ensure that crimes, including but not limited to those perpetrated on minors, are never reported to outside authorities. Most of the time, I'm interjecting, most of the time too, when the children grow up, get out of Scientology and tell the LAPD that they were essayed, oftentimes the LAPD will just say, well, statute of limitations is up. And then they just go take their check and they do security for Scientology. I'm not saying every single one, but a lot of them do. The law is clear. If you know about the possession or distribution of CP, that's child porn, everyone, in case you didn't know, and fail to report it, you can be held criminally liable. I'm wondering when's the last time a Scientologist that essayed a child was actually put in jail. Don't you guys wonder that? Or what about the perpetrators in there right now that are essaying the children? You know, the children that clean up in the hotels and get essayed by the adults, locked up in there, not allowed to leave. When's the last time that we actually had a conviction? LAPD. Clearwater PD. Federal law is violated. 18 U.S. Code, Alpha 2252 and 2252A Alpha. It is illegal to possess, distribute, or receive child porn. If someone knows that another person is engaging in this crime and fails to report it, they could be considered complicit under conspiracy or aiding and abetting laws. How about that, LAPD? How about that? Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigations, allegedly. 18 U.S. Code 4, misprision of a felony. It is a federal crime to have knowledge of a felony, such as possession of child porn, and fail to report it. How about that, everyone? This carries a penalty of up to 3 years in prison. You guys, when's the last time a Scientologist that essayed a child, or maybe they married him later, because they're into that kind of stuff. When's the last time that they actually served jail time? Does anyone know? I think we should all go talk to some of the Las Vegas ministers that marry these children off. But they know a lot, don't you guys think? In Nevada, in some of these other states, but I know Nevada is one of them, Las Vegas. Yeah. This carries a penalty of up to 3 years in prison. 18 U.S. Code Alpha 2422, coercion and enticement of a minor. If a person is aware that another individual is using the internet to exploit children, like touch assists, and does not report it, they could face charges related to conspiracy or aiding and abetting. When's the last time any of these Scientologists that were covering up child SA or covering up child porn, aiding and abetting in crimes, when's the last time they were charged with coercion and enticement of a minor? Does anybody know? Anyone want to do a background check and see how many of these Scientologists that SA children are in jail? I sure the F want to know. Don't you guys want to know? Inquiring MF minds want to know. 18 U.S. Code Alpha 371, conspiracy to commit an offense. If 2 or more people know a crime is being committed, such as child porn possession, and take no action, kind of like Rinder, to stop or report it, allegedly, they could be charged with conspiracy. We know, according to her report, she copied several people inside Scientology, including ethics officers, case supervisors, etc. Dang, there's a paper trail of the child porn, too. Apparently, LAPD couldn't get a hold of that. Can't help but remember, do you guys remember when that transgender woman was begging for LAPD to help get her out? And when the alleged the alleged LAPD officer SHOT her and K'd her? That was to send out a message. For anyone who didn't know, now you know. Can't ask for help. That's why that happened. Showed everyone else you can't ask for help. Yeah, you heard it here. State laws violated. Many states have mandatory reporting laws requiring individuals to report child abuses, including CSAM-related crimes. I don't know what CSAM is. Failing to do so can result in criminal charges. Imagine that, you guys. For example, California Penal Code 11166 mandated reporters, including teachers, clergy, and youth program staff, like at Mace Kingsley, like at Delphian School, like that, must report suspected child abuse immediately. Failure to do so can lead to misdemeanor or felony charges. Okay, now this is for Florida. Florida FS 39.201 requires all adults to report known or suspected child abuse, including CSAM-related crimes. Who's governor over there again? DeSantis? Supposedly DeSantis is like a real family guy. What's he doing about Clearwater? Anybody know? Inquiring MF minds want to know. But this goes beyond mandated reporters. Under federal law, anyone with direct knowledge of CP, possession, or distribution has a duty to report it. That covers a lot of people. That covers a lot of people. That would cover Scientology auditors, whether they're a child or whether they are an adult. That would cover case supervisors in Scientology. That would also cover so-called ecclesiastical leaders. They're not able to get out of it by law. By law. This Scientology mother didn't have to be a mandated reporter for criminal liability to attach. My personal opinion is mother has to be earned. She knowingly withheld information about a serious crime. That alone is enough to make her complicit. One of the most dangerous aspects of Scientology is that it has no mandated reporters. Aren't they supposed to be mandated though, you guys? This means that when Scientology parents, he says that loosely, executives, auditors, or ethics officers, just like I said, learn about CSAM, possession, or child abuse, they do not and will not report it because the entire system is designed to protect Scientology, not children. I guess I misread that. But in Scientology, there is no one a child can turn to. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You guys think that song is an accident? That's an MK Ultra song. Wakey, wakey. There is no one whose job it is to protect them. Yeah, LAPD knows, the Department of Justice knows, Scientology parents know, Scientology ecclesiastical leaders know, Scientology auditors know, whether they are children or whether they are adults. Everybody knows. That wouldn't draw predators, would it? Why? Because Scientology does not recognize victims. In their system, children are responsible for their own suffering, including but not limited to getting RAPED. Facts. Facts. And a lot of these children get RAPED numerous, over and over and over. Looks like some things need to be dropped in on the child zones in Scientology. Don't you guys think? If a child is harmed, Scientology parents and staff groom the kid, manipulating them into thinking that they themselves pulled it in because of past life crimes. That means that when a child is criminally abused in Scientology, the response is not to protect them, but to make them feel responsible for pulling it in, for manifesting that felony. This should be read on the really super large channels that are not Scientology channels. It should be read on on a lot of these crime channels that are really large. Facts. This is not an isolated incident. It is a pattern they deal with all of this standard operating procedure. That's also a military term. Weird, huh? This is not a one-off case. This is not about one bad mother making a bad choice. This is a pattern that has played out in Scientology for decades. 70 years to be exact. I've got to look into this, but I think that Scientology was created like a year or two after the Charlie Igloo Alpha. I got to look into that though. Or the MK Ultra programs, rather. Weird. We have seen it over and over again. Danny Masterson criminal case survivors reported their RAPES to Scientology officials, prestigious executives that run things now, who covered it up and pressured them into silence. Scientology's entire response was about protecting Masterson, the convicted serial artist, not the victims. Remember when that fool was screaming at the Our victims? You guys remember that? I do. Multiple women came forward stating that Scientology officials knew about S abuse but refused to report it, choosing instead to silence the victims, though through harassment and intimidation. That's another crime, by the way, but crimes. This is not speculation. This is documented. This is proven. So when the Scientology mother admitted she knew about CSAM being accessed and chose to do nothing, she was participating in and aiding and abetting a criminal conspiracy. This is why no more kids in Scientology is not just a slogan but an urgent demand, because the children in Scientology are not just at risk. They are being actively placed in harm's way, surrounded by a system, surrounded by predators, that ensures no one will protect them. LAPD is on board with that one. So is Clearwater PD, from what we are all seeing. Scientology's policies, its leadership, its entire structure, like the leaders that are coming out that want to lead people that are speaking out against the crimes. Those fools. No. The entire structure must be held legally and criminally accountable. And when a mother inside Scientology knows that a predator is accessing CSAM, knows that a child has been harmed, and chooses to cover it up, she's not just complicit. She is according to what is stated in the law an actual criminal. The truth is right in front of everyone. Facts. Facts. The law is on the side of protecting kids, not their predators. I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.